After sharing decades of your life with someone, being suddenly single in your 50s can be seriously daunting.
Whether you're a widow or a divorcee, the whole family is bound to have an opinion on whether you should dip your toe into the dating pool again. Well, we have an opinion too. At least our relationship guru, Dr. Wendy Walsh, does. She has the survival guide. Dr. Wendy, recovering from a breakup, that can be really tough. So how do you know when it's the right time to start dating again?
Well, I have to remind you, and I know I've said this before, that when Till Death Do Us Part was invented, death was pretty imminent. So you should know that because of our long lifespans, even monogamous people may have 2 or 3 big relationships in their life. So you're not alone. There will be other people out there all across the lifespan looking for mates. But how do you know when you're ready? When you can go on a date and not talk about your ex all night. In fact, if you can go on a date and only mention your ex one time, woohoo, that's great. It's not the time to get therapy and wallow in the company of somebody else. You have to be new and improved and free of that ex when you sit at that dating table.
Flying solo at a party when you've always had a partner can be scary, Wendy. So what are your tips?
Well, you know, I have a great bit of advice for that. And the number one is, of course, bring a wingman or a wingwoman, a platonic friend, a gal pal, a guy that you want to hang with, because then it's always easier to just go with a friend and laugh it off. But if you don't have a wingman, then be the early bird. Go early, because there's always somebody else there. And you know that awkward moment at the beginning of a party and only a couple people are there? That's when you meet a new best friend who can carry you all the way through the party if you need to.
Oh, good tip.
And also, those people are punctual, so you know you've got that to rely on. So being alone can give you confidence a beating. So what can you do to build it back up, and what can you do to make a good impression?
Well, you have to remember that you are still lovable. And at the end of the day, no matter how much money you make, what kind of fitness you're in, or how beautiful you are or not, how old you are, the most important thing that's sexy to both genders is self-confidence. So if you can remind yourself how lovable you are, that's the most important thing. But the other tip is, when you're going to a party or any social occasion, everybody's favorite topic is themselves. So you can deflect questions about your relationship history and your divorce and who you are by simply being a curious mind and asking people about themselves. And believe me, they will talk all night if you just ask them about themselves.
And Wendy, while you might be ready to start dating again, your family and friends might not be comfortable with you moving on. So how do you tackle that?
Okay, I know we've talked about this before, especially when there are young children involved. So I am no funny business on this one. If you've got kids, you don't share your romantic life with them until there's something serious to share, because a revolving door of parental figures is really bad for kids. But if they're teenagers or above, or they're your, steps or your cousins or your sisters or your mothers, then you just tell them to zip it if they're getting critical. Remember, be prepared with the best line of all, which is simply, if you want to see me happy, and if you care about me, then you'll let me find happiness.
Oh, throw it right back in their lap. And the way you said it,
that's why they call you the love guru.
That's
Dr.
right.
Wendy.
Thanks, Dr. Wendy.
Thank you.
Hey,
see you next week.
Thanks, Wendy. Speaking of getting back into the dating game, our makeover mum, Venus, will be ready to mingle